Hello, and welcome to the channel. Today, I wanted to share why Starfield's Unity is the best implementation of a New Game Plus that I've ever experienced, and what other developers might be able to learn from it. Other games that I've played with the New Game Plus, what happens is that you play through the game, and you reach the end of the game, and then the credits roll, and it says, "Would you like to start a New Game Plus?" And you start the game, nothing is different, except you still have all your stats and your abilities and, maybe your gold or whatever. It's like a metagaming thing, right? It's like, oh, I want to play the game again, but I don't want to start over from zero. Well, that's what a New Game Plus is functionally for, but in Starfield, it's a little different, and spoilers from Starfield ahead. I have to say, if you haven't gotten to the end of the game yet, if you haven't finished the main story yet, then I highly encourage you to do so on your own without hearing what I have to say about it, and then you can come back and watch the video, because I don't like to spoil experiences for people. Now, if that doesn't matter to you, go ahead and continue watching this video, but I just don't want to spoil the experience for you. Throughout the main story, you're being told and you research and you investigate about this thing called the Unity. There are some religious texts on the Unity and people talk about it and they have different thoughts about it. Well, it ends up being something that was created by someone else that allows you to transfer your consciousness to a different self in another universe. And when I was hearing about it, I was thinking like, I don't know if I want to do this, because the way that I like to play Bethesda games is that I create a character and then I do everything. I do all the main missions, I do all the faction quests, I try to do as many side missions as I can, and then that character is like my first character, and it usually has hundreds of hours of gameplay on it, and then I restart the game with a brand new character and try to experience things differently. I usually don't complete a main mission in a Bethesda game until I feel like I'm done with the game, and I was starting to feel like I was done with Starfield. I'm like, there's so much more to do, but I'm kind of getting a little tired of it, I guess I lost interest in my character. So this is the perfect opportunity for me to create a new one, but the difficulty that I always run into is that I have to force lore reasons in my mind for things to happen. Like, okay, I'm not going to do this mission because this is not what my character would do. And for this first character that I made in Starfield, I didn't want to do the Ryujin questline, I didn't want to do the Trackers Alliance, because those were things that didn't align with that character's morality, and so they skipped them. They avoided those quests and didn't do them. And there were a few other quest lines I probably should have steered clear from as well, but I just took those as like mistakes in his backstory. But the interesting part is that when I got to the Unity, it was a lot more fleshed out than I had expected. When you step through the portal, it takes you to this place where you're surrounded by the memories of your playthrough, and you can go and visit each of them and reminisce about the storylines that you completed and the choices that you made, because there are different decisions you can make in those stories. And I was slowly walking through them, visiting each one, thinking about, wow, my character, this is it. Like, he's gonna be basically erased from the universe. He's gonna live on in this universe or whatever. I could always reload a save. But this is it. This is the end of his story, and it was kind of melancholy going through and hearing all those storylines. And I realized, this is so cool. This is perfect, because now when I step through the Unity, I can pick a new character. I'm going to redesign my character. They're going to have a new personality and everything, and they're going to act completely different and do completely different missions than the first character did. And I was like, this is perfect, because I can continue the playthrough, but play different characters. It's brilliant. And the thing that I thought I was going to hate about it is that you lose most of your items. They introduced a new thing called the quantum storage, I think it is. You can create the storage container and put some items in it that you can carry on to the next universe. It's very limited. I think it starts at like 50 or 100 or something, and you can upgrade it with quantum essence to up to 200 storage, but that's not very much. You can't take your entire kit with you. That was something that I thought that I would miss. I'm like, I can't take any of my credits with me. I can't take any of my outfits that I've collected traveling everywhere, all my items and stuff. So I built the quantum container, and then I decided, you know what? I'm not going to put anything in here. I want it to be a fresh experience and see what it feels like. And if I don't like it, then I'm going to go back. Well, I went through the Unity. I created a new character with a different look and everything. And when I started the game, it gives you the option to skip the main quest line. And and reveal that you're Starborn. So I did that. And I was like, this is the best. This just feels so concrete. It's not like slapped on to the world or something. This is baked into the lore. And I love that. The only other game that I've ever played that does this slightly differently is the Dragon's Dogma series. Spoilers for Dragon's Dogma incoming. In the first game, there are several endings. When you go through the story, it takes you back to the main menu, and then you can start a new game plus, and you have all your abilities and the appearance of your Risen and everything, and your main pawn, and you can go through the game again with those increased stats, increased levels, and whatnot. In the second game, it's a similar story where you reach the end of the game, there are several endings, and the repeated cycle ending, the peaceful ending, allows you again to do that new game plus thing where you can restart the game with your stats and your abilities and your level and your pawn and your appearance and stuff. You can change it if you want to, but you just go through the game again with all your abilities. There's an in-game reason why it allows you to do that. There is a set up cycle where an Arisen is born and their purpose is to defeat the dragon, and that's the cycle that repeats over and over and over again. And sometimes the Arisen goes further than that, and they break out of that cycle and become the seneschal of the world, and they just oversee things until they get tired of it, and then they can pick a new Arisen and start the cycle over again. But that's an in-lore reason. You know, it's not like, oh, there's a new game plus with no explanation. So that's the closest that a game has ever gotten, in my opinion, to having a lore-friendly reason for a new game plus. On top of actually being able to like adjust your character and keep the experience and stuff, the funnest part about it is that the Bethesda game is like a power creep game where you just eventually get stronger and stronger and stronger until you're like, you one-shot everything. And there's never an explanation for that. Like, I remember playing Oblivion, you can become the leader of the Fighters Guild, and you can become the Archmage of the Mages Guild, and you become the Grey Fox or whatever. It's like, wait a second. How am I the leader of all these organizations? But in Starfield, it actually makes sense. Unlike every other Bethesda game, they try to give like a little explanation here or there. Oh, you're the Nerevarine, but even the Nerevarine, you know, actually in Oblivion, you're just kind of some regular dude. Skyrim, you know, you're the Dragonborn. It's like, but in Starfield, you're the Starborn, and you encounter other Starborn who are just as powerful as you. I don't know about you guys, but if you've played Starfield and you encounter the other Starborn ships, I still have a hard time defeating them. I'm like level 50 or something. Yes, I have hard on, but if I encounter 3 or 4 of them, I gotta get out of there. Like, I still can't defeat them. And I've upgraded my weapons and everything. You know, I have C class of mostly everything, but it's still not easy to defeat multiple Starborn because they feel strong, you know, they feel powerful just like me, which is really cool. The fact that I can get all these abilities and everything, it makes sense because I'm going through different universes, basically puddle jumping these universes and gathering artifacts and becoming stronger and stronger. Like, it makes so much sense in the world, and I found myself excited to continue to play. I thought I was going to go back and be like, oh no, I should transfer items, or maybe I should do these quests before I go through the Unity. And the other thing is there's some variance on the universes. I haven't encountered any yet, but I guess there's some little goofy things that you can encounter in the lodge that indicate that you're in a different universe. But yeah, the experience I've had going through the Unity and being surprised by the way that they fleshed out the transition from your old character to the new one, it just felt so good. It felt so consistent, and it reminded me of the video that they came out with, because they released like a hype video for the Free Lanes update with James Earl Jones narrating it, and it was fantastic. He's like, you're visiting the same places, but they're different because you're different. And it's true. It's like, I created this new character and they have a new personality or whatever, and I would do this with the other games, but it wasn't the same because I forced it. You know, I manufactured the differences in the characters for each one that I created, but for this one, there's an in-lore justification for it. And so it just feels so much more immersive to me. When I'm encountering these quests again, I've already had a perspective shift because I'm trying to see things from this character's perspective, but also it's like, well, this was completed by my previous self in the other universe, so I can skip it. You know, it's like, oh, okay. Oh, that makes sense. It's just unique. Yeah, obviously this is the first Bethesda game with a new game plus. pretty sure. I don't remember there being one in any of the other games. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Fallout has any New Game Plus, even the fourth one. But this is the first New Game Plus, and it is also the best implementation of a New Game Plus that I've ever seen in a video game. Most games don't have any kind of in-lore justification for a New Game Plus. It's just an additional game mechanic. And if they try to do it, then it feels kind of stilted and inconsistent. And the closest that we've gotten to Starfield is Dragon's Dogma, but Starfield is still miles ahead in terms of immersion and consistency. Let me know what you think. Have you gone through the Unity yet? And if you're putting it off like I did, just go for it, because it was a much better experience than I expected. And I thought I was going to miss all of my resources. I had outposts, I had so many outfits and weapons and all these resources and stuff, but starting over it felt good. It felt good, and it felt like it made sense. You know, I'm playing a completely different game now. I'm going for like a stealth build, so I never really put any points into stealth, so I'm exploring the stealth mechanics in this game. I'm wearing all black with the chameleon helmet and stuff like that. It feels so different from my first playthrough, and I love that. So yeah, thanks for sticking around. As always, be kind to one another, go play a good game, and delight in the joy of New Game Plus. All right, I'll see you next time.